Governor Meatball has attacked. It was a sneak attack. It wasn't completely unexpected. I did see the potential for this. I didn't vocalize it because I didn't want to manifest it. I don't know who, the Department of Health, the Governor Cuomo, or somebody in the governor's office shut down Governor's Comedy Club, which was doing outside, socially distanced, safe shows in a tent in a parking lot outside. And it had been open for a while. And many people had performed there. And there were no problems. And nobody had been tested positive for COVID-19. But yours truly criticized the governor of the state of New York on the biggest podcast in the world. And then a few days later, a few hours before I was supposed to perform in the tent, the shows were canceled and governors got shut down. Now, I am not alleging that there is a connection, but I cannot say there isn't a connection. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know. I believe we're now in a war. I'm in a war with this crime family. Can we be honest? They're a crime family. Mario Cuomo, the grandfather, was the governor. Now this guy's the governor. His brother's on CNN. They're a crime family that chose to run the state of New York instead of a trucking company. That's who they are. And I don't care that Chris Fredo Cuomo Corleone's wife is a member of the Hampton Bathing Corp. You can't wash the garlic out of your dress. We smell you from a million miles away. You can walk on the beach with wasps wearing white linen, but you smell like a 3-day-old sausage and pepper hero under the seat of a fucking... I know you try to wash that off, but it seeps out of your pores. And I did. You know, she's a member of the very elite Hampton Bathing Corp, one of the oldest and most prestigious beach clubs in the world, which means nothing to me. So I walked right, out. They have obviously a building and a pool and an inside that you can't get in, but there's a beach. They're out there. They're sitting on the beach. And these wasps used to own the whole world, and now they have this small patch of dirt in Southampton. And these are, 800 of the wealthiest families on the planet. And many of them have memberships to this beach club, and they all drive beater old cars there. It would be seen as grotesque to show up in a Lambo or a Bugatti, something ostentatious. It is very wasp aesthetic over there. And I walked through it. I walked through the beach part of it. There's women wearing like white bonnets and kids. I mean, it looked kind of like a regular, beach club. You could tell, the difference was that people were reading. Let's be honest. That was the major difference. A couple of people had a few books and not trashy romance novels where there's like a guy whose pecs are busting out of his shirt. It looks like some fucking, logger, on the front cover of the book. And it wasn't Harry Potter. It wasn't adults reading Harry Potter like a lot of the beaches I go to, where it's an adult reading tween fiction, and adults sitting there unashamed reading tween fiction. It wasn't that. I couldn't see what the books were, but I could tell by their covers they were not that. But other than that, other than the fact that you saw people reading age-appropriate material, it wasn't that obvious that it was so different from the types of people that would just normally congregate on a beach in a well-to-do area. I mean, there were no boom boxes. I don't want to be racist here, and this is going to seem racist, but you know what I mean. Nobody was playing loud music. There were no potato chips. Nobody had a bag of Lay's potato chips. Nobody was sitting around crunching cheese doodles. It was people that were reading quietly, talking quietly, going in the water. Of course, there's no phones allowed, no Instagram, no TikToking, there are strict rules. And Christina Cuomo, Fredo Cuomo Corleone didn't have corona, never forget, liar. His wife, Christina Grisholm, is a member of the Southampton Bathing Corp. Do I know? Can I be certain that she was not told that I committed the social sin of walking through the beach club that I am not a member of? I don't know. Can I be sure? Can I be certain that that did not happen? Is this a war for the future of the Hamptons? Is this the cycles of new money replacing old? Am I locked in the same war that Vanderbilt and Carnegie and Rockefeller were in? I could be, but I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. I'm here fighting for your rights. First of all, it is your right to die. No one's told you that. It's your right to die. It's your right to die. You have a right to die, okay? It is not your right to kill other people, but if other people all take a risk and kill each other, you're not killing them. Do you see what I mean? Like if everybody decides, for example, we always talk about drunk drivers. What if everyone in the car is drunk? Do you know how many times I've been in a car and everyone is drunk? And every time we get into an accident, almost people would laugh. Nobody in the car deserved to survive. Nobody. There was no innocent person in the car. There was no good person that had just accidentally ended up in a car with 3 other drunks on a Wednesday night in Long Island, leaving a bar called Lisa's Lounge. Everybody already had blood on their hands. You see? So if everybody wants to get together and assess the risk and go out and enjoy some fucking entertainment, which is, I think, their God-given right or state-given, they should be able to do that without the fear of reprisal from this vindictive, petty gangster who's running New York State. And this is the play until Trump loses. And you could hate Trump. You could want Trump to lose. I think it would be very healthy for the country to have a reset right about now. But let's just be honest. If you work in the restaurant business or if you work in entertainment, be prepared for a rocky couple of months because especially if you're in a blue state, a lot of these governors, they're not going to allow the phases to reopen in a way that makes people feel hopeful about the future. I think the plan is to kind of reopen gradually, slowly, and I don't think a hell of a lot of reopening is going to happen before November. I just don't believe that. And listen, that's a strategy. And it's, because a lot of these states don't want to get clobbered again. There's many reasons. But let's not for a minute pretend. Let's not for a second pretend that there isn't a benefit to keeping the economy stalled and to keeping people a little terrorized. They just want you a little nervous out there. They want you a little apprehensive out there, a little fearful. They want you to know that society is fragile and that is part of a strategy to force political change in the country. You may agree with it. You may think it's smart. You may think it's necessary. You might think it's long overdue. But let's be very honest about what it is. It's not, I think if Biden and Kamala win, the tone of the coverage is going to change. Trump did bungle this. I think we can all agree, if we're honest, that Trump didn't do a great job. I don't know how well other presidents would have done, and now we'll never know. I mean, we might know if we get a new one in a few months. But at the end of the day, the media wants this guy out. And they're using every opportunity to, act as a partisan political machine. That's what they're doing. If you can't see that, you yourself have left the planet, which is okay. That's fine. But just know that. Just you can see that. And it's not all undeserved. That's the other thing. Trump is not above reproach. He deserves a lot of criticism. He's the last person you'd want in any type of crisis. You know, he, like Cuomo, is petty. He's vindictive, you know. I don't know what Cuomo did. I haven't really been following this nursing home scandal. I just know that my mother is in a nursing home and has not died of COVID, and everyone in my family has been terribly disappointed. You know, we call every day, and we're like, what is going on? Has everyone died but her? Has literally every person died of COVID in the nursing home system but her? This bitch is sucking up tax dollars like you have no idea. I mean, shoot her in the head and just say it's COVID. Who cares? They're not going to care. The people who run this state are fucking criminals. They're gangsters. Just smother her with a pillow for Christ. But I don't know what he's been doing. I think he's just been putting, he's just let a brush fire of COVID run through the nursing home system in New York State. Okay? While he's not canceling comedy shows held in parking lots, he spends his time shipping sick COVID patients to nursing homes, starting a brush fire of disease. This is a guy who claims how well New York handled COVID. He fails to mention that all of the outbreaks of COVID from around the country originate and emanate from New York not shutting down immediately and letting people leave. Now, I'm not saying that New York should have shut down or it shouldn't have shut down, but let's look at the causation of a lot of the COVID outbreaks they can be directly traced to New Yorkers. So before we throw ourselves a victory party, and before somebody pops out of the cake, and before mama starts rolling the eggplant rollatini, and before we bring out the chafing dishes, and before we get the fucking penne alla vodka, and the chicken franchise, and the cannolis out, let's understand that you and your state infected the entire country, yes or yes. Those are just facts. Andrew, Andy, Meatball. They're just facts. And you can revise history. You can do whatever makes you comfortable. You can get out and, do this dance. You desperately want to be president. We've never had an Italian president, and we never will. We will have a transgender member of Antifa before we have somebody who smells like garlic sitting in that Oval Office, okay? Criminal. Understand that, criminal. There's nothing really better than anti-Italian racism. And because it is allowed, that's just simply why it's so good. It's sanctioned, it's allowed. Nobody will stop you from doing it. In fact, there's only an upside to you engaging in racism against Irish people or Italians, which is why I do it so frequently. And because I know a lot of Irish people and Italian people, so it's fun to poke fun at them. But I mean, if the governor, let's just say, for an example, the governor was a black lesbian. Let's do the show again. Ready? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tim Dillon Show. The shows got canceled. Real disappointing. Anyway, heading back to L.A. pretty soon. Really excited about, you see the difference. And that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate because I do believe that everybody deserves a good lashing, specifically when they are targeting just a clown, just a happy clown, coming to dance his clown dance for the people in Long Island, the simple people in Long Island who just want to laugh. They just want to laugh and eat bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches and occasionally do a little heroin. That's all they want to do. They want to live in houses they inherited and complain about the tax burden.